One thing I realized is most people in life do not have their own goals. They just do what is expected of them. When you grow up as a child, it is normal for you to go to kindergarten, then you go to nursery school, you go to primary school, you go to secondary school, you go to university, then you start looking for a job. That is what the flow of the human existence is. Do this, do this, do this. Most people do not have specific goals in life, and most people never really take time to even discover or learn what they want from life, what they themselves want from life. They don't. Most people just do what is expected of them. Most people just do what society has told them to do. People follow the societal structure, not what they want. After I finished my NYC and I went to the UK, my plan was get a nice job, continue my company, preferably a job in marketing. But I got there and I couldn't get a job in marketing. Although I was seeing opportunities in door to door sales, I was advised that, oh, it's a terrible job. And then the next thing was I became a bandwagon of people looking for sponsorship because that wasn't really my intention when I left Nigeria. But as soon as I got to the UK, I followed the flow of an African immigrant, which is get a job, get sponsorship, get a job, get sponsorship. And then I started looking for sponsorship. Then I almost got one in care as a domiciliary care worker. But I thought to myself, Israel, you're a 24 years old boy. Do you really want to spend the next 5 years of your life going around Manchester in Altrincham from door to door taking care of people? And that doesn't sound bad, taking care of people. But Israel, is that your goal in life? That was not my goal in life. And that is not my goal in life. My goal is to do something revolutionary for my generation, but not to be a care worker. But I eventually did it. Although I didn't take the sponsorship. I still was doing care and I don't want to be dramatic. And then I did different jobs. But I don't want to make this about me because this is about you. And the question is, do you even know what your goals are in life? Because most of us, or most people, or I specifically, it took me a while to know what my goals are. And even as at this moment, I have to a certain degree an exposure or an understanding of what my goals are. I still constantly try to know what my goals are. So, what are your goals? Do you know what your goals are? Or are you just running after what everyone says you should run after? Are you just doing what everyone else is doing because that is what you've been told to do? Are you just in a constant state of panic? And don't get me wrong, coming back to Nigeria made me realize that, and this is for this case of 9 to 5. For the case of 9 to 5, in the UK and in Nigeria, 9 to 5 is the same. I hated 9 to 5 in the UK, but coming back to Nigeria, I realized that it is the same thing everywhere. Humans just spend a large percentage of their lives just working and walking and just running around. While I was washing my father's car, I thought to myself that us humans, I think, are the only creatures that don't understand how pointless the struggles of life is. Think about it. You go to school, you work, you go to school, you learn. Good. You became a civilized creature. Good. Then you impute back to your environment. Good. And then you do all that to die. Then you leave something for the other generation. That sounds good because you shouldn't just live for your own primary self. You should live for your other generation. But that is all we do as humans. We all just live life for the next generation. And I'm not saying you should be selfish and live life for yourself, but I just feel like there should be more to life than living life for the next generation. We just live life to leave something behind for the next generation, which is what I'm doing too. I'm living life to do something good for the next generation. But am I actually living life in itself? Like, am I actually living? Am I living? And the first thoughts in my head when I was washing the car, which is not that smart or was not that smart, is that I think humans are just weird because us humans we walk. We walk to die. But then every other organism on the planet just exists freely in the planet. They are all just existing. But then I thought to myself, yeah, but that is why we dominate those organisms. And I thought to myself, yeah, but humans are like a plague on the planet. Because if humans do not exist on the planet would be such a very happy and beautiful place for every other creature. And there would still be predators preying on their prey, but the world will just relatively be better. Most bacterial infections, most strong diseases that caused plagues to arise were created by humans in the laboratory. Maybe not most, but quite a few. But I don't know, I'm just thinking freely right now because I'm learning to question everything I know. Because life is just weird, man. Okay, like right now, just walk, create a legacy, walk. I think my confusion is because I have stopped seeking first the kingdom of God. Because every time I live and I exist these days, I just think to myself, so I go through all this stress, every single stress. And in as much as sometimes I compare my stress to other people's stress, I think to myself, Israel, you're just trying to make your stress not too stressful. That is why you compare yourself to people in situations tougher than yours. But my stress is still very much valid and it is stressful. So I think to myself, with all this your stress in life, you go through all this to just die. And that'll be the end. I mean, sure, you leave a legacy behind. Sure, the next generation benefits, and that is good. That is very good. That brings me joy. As a matter of fact, that is one of the things that wants me to live life. That is why I even want to do. That is why I want to leave a legacy. Because imagine two people. John, this is a normal life, works a 9 to 5 all his life and dies. Builds a house or two houses or three houses, like 5 cars, and you leave it for your children. Good. But then we have Jonathan. Jonathan builds a company that is changing the world. Builds, let's even say Jonathan builds 3 houses, although he might build more. Let's say Jonathan builds 3 houses and he has 4 cars. And then also we have Matthew. Matthew gets a 9 to 5. He has 10 houses, 10 cars, and leaves all that behind. After they all die, All these things they leave behind. Fine, they've left properties for their offspring. Fine, Jonathan has even left a legacy, a huge company to help people, to finance their lives, to create charities. By the end of the day, John, Jonathan, and Matthew, they will die. So, what is the purpose of that their existence? Because, fine, they've left things for their offspring, they've left things for their generation, but like, so when they die, where do they go? Because let's say they all live to the age of 100 years, where do they spend the rest of their eternity? Do we just live and die and our soul die with us? As a Christian, no, we go to heaven. So when they go to heaven, they just exist in heaven for the rest of eternity. They exist in heaven for the rest of eternity. And then what happens? They worship God for the rest of eternity. Like, oh, my brain. Since as much as I feel like I have my own goals, I'm starting to feel like, what are my goals truly? I want to have a company, yes. I want to leave a legacy, yes. Why? Because I think my existence on earth is very pointless. But because I think it is pointless, I want it to have a point. Because I don't think there is so much grace in living and having a car or 10 cars and having 10 mansions. Like, that is good. And I say it a lot. A hungry man will not have these deep thoughts. That is good. But like, after I now die and I leave all those things behind, because I'm not taking these things anywhere, where do I go with it? And then I want to now have a legacy. Because I feel like having cars and houses, that one is just very, that's like cool. But that's not as cool as having a legacy that can create a world and a future for the incoming generation. So let's say I have a legacy, Misfit Academy gets successful, we empower people, Misfit Architects become successful, and we're able to like just teach people skills for free. Because I want Academy to be, why I want Misfit merge to be possible is because I want Academy to be the lifeline that is making the money that would make architects to make architect free, so that when architect is free, people can come to us and learn skills for free. Like, I want to create a company people can come and learn things for free. It's like a charity, but there's still the other aspect whereby people can pay. Crazy, right? Crazy. Well, and I want this to be very sustainable, which is quite insane. But I want to figure it out because I just feel like that is one thing that will make my existence on earth have purpose and meaning. And the only reason why I'm thinking this way is because I've thought to myself, if I have all the wealth in the world, I'm not taking it anywhere. I might as well have something in the world that will give me all the wealth in the world, but also give me a higher value in life, which is creating a world that is better for other future generations. But at the end of the day, let's say I have all the money in the world and I die. And let's say I have all the money in the world and I leave a legacy behind that is helping people. And I will do that. I will have all the money in the world and I will leave a legacy behind that is helping people. And I still die. So where does me now, in my own equation of life, and even you, think about it, where do we go when we die? Like, our existence, what does our existence amount to? What does our existence amount to? I was going to title this video, I made a content list. This content is meant to be have your own goals. Have your own goals. But now, the title of this video is, what is our existence about? Why do we exist? Because you have all the riches on earth. When you die, that eternity, what happens to you? Because all these
struggling, laboring, running around, even with legacy, even with billions. What happens with everything? You leave it behind. So what happens to you